It was very moving that many of the answers were the same. The things that people were most thankful for were the things that, they took the most for granted. So maybe you look at it as a comfort level, but as a public service announcement, realize that not everybody's going to be there all the time, so please don't take them for granted. But it was very interesting that something so diverse was so convergent in the conversation that we were having. Again, for those of you who tuned in last week, you know that September, great month, is Blood Cancer Awareness Month. I know it's December. We just crept into December. However, only creating awareness for 1 month, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, will not solve the blood cancer epidemic. So we'll continue to spread the word, and we ask you, our listeners, to do the same. As I mention every show, Pacific Islanders are having a tough time. Hispanic people are underrepresented. Asian people are underrepresented. Our African American friends are underrepresented. And it was very beneficial to me. I had discussions with some minority groups affected, and they're suffering a few consequences, Barry and Nate. The consequences of people not swabbing, and frankly, people not having the knowledge to traverse the waters of how to recruit bone marrow donors. If you're one of those people, we're inviting you right now to please call Bridget or Nathan at 1-800-9-MARROW. Again, that's 1-800-9-MARROW. And they're going to give you the roadmap that you need. They're going to get you started.
Greg, I hate to interrupt because I actually really like that. Back when I was 13, way back, hundreds of years ago, I have, for a bar mitzvah, you have to do something called a mitzvah project, at least at my temple. And what that is, it's a piece of charity. You do some charity and then you talk about it at your bar mitzvah. And my father really wanted me to run a bone marrow drive. And at the time when I was 13, I knew nothing about bone marrow. I didn't know what it meant to run a bone marrow drive. To me, it was like you had to pull a bus up to the temple, and I'd have to be convincing people and this and that, and it would be that whole, there would be blood and fluid. It's really not that big of a deal. All it is a cheek swab. In fact, just through this conversation we're having, you'd probably be done donating by the time I'm finished speaking.
You would, and you want to know something? You didn't know about it at 13, and with a little research and you gain some wisdom over the years, it's not that complicated. But if you're a little trepid about getting involved, that's where you could call up Bridget, Nate, and Freddie or waiting for your call.
Exactly. And all it is that first step. That's the hardest part.
Exactly. So, my not-so-favorite topic, but I'll bring it up anyway.
Uh-oh.
The Jets lost last night. They did everything that they could in their powers to lose. Ken on the other side is laughing of the glass, which this season is nothing new. It's the Jets are now 2-10. But if we want to make an analogy to education, I believe that the New York Jets would make a great case study as to the dysfunction of an organization.
What do you mean by that, Greg?
Well, the dysfunction, the only constant is the organization's inconsistencies, coupled with Geno Smith's his inability to throw a ball in the ocean from a boat. But
so you're saying the only consistent thing that the Jets can do is be
inconsistent. Yeah, it marvels my mind. Rex, I want to thank you. I know you're getting your pink slip in about 4 weeks, but thank you for 6 years of entertainment. I look forward to you being on your talk show next season, and we would love to have you on ours. Some advice to you, Rex. I have to get this off my chest because I'm a huge Jet fan. Please get acquainted with an owner, a general manager that align with your style of defense. So you, in fact, could pick the food and cook the food, to paraphrase something that Bill Parcells said. I want to... the Jets have made me a little queasy watching them over the last couple of weeks, so I lost a bet to Big Nate. I thought, however, I would be productive with this loss.
Well, let's go over the terms of the bet.
The terms of the bet was that I was going to grow a mustache for a month.
You would be mustachioed.
I'd be mustachioed, but I thought of something. A mustache I could grow, but what my weak spot is soda. And I agreed to Nate that I will give up soda until Super Bowl Sunday.
See, this is it's hard to monitor your soda intake.
I'm giving you my promise on with my children listening on the air that I am going to give up soda until Super Bowl Sunday. People in the office will be watching me. I will be a new fan of water and iced tea, and you know how much I like Coca-Cola. I think that that's going to be very tough, but I'm going to do it.
I don't. I think it's a cop out. What do you think, Angry Barry?
Hey, I mean...
it's healthy.
It's healthy. I mean, you can't knock a guy for trying to be healthy. That being said, they do say now, and I read this somewhere, I don't have the sources for you guys, but they say that that soda is the new smoking.
So that's why
Greg,
good luck.
Good luck with your ordeal, and hopefully you'll come out a few pounds lighter.
Have you ever seen what happens to a penny when you drop it into a glass of Coke?
I don't want to know.
What?
I mean, the acid just cleans the penny.
Oh, my God.
It's brilliant when it comes out.
I will add some levity to this, Nate. If I had to wait until the Jets won again to drink a can of pop, it may be 2016. So enough Jets talk. And guys, I love having you on the show. Dare I say, most importantly, my friends, but the co-hosts for Gift of Life with Gregg, Barry Kaplan, and Big Nate are back and better than ever. Guys, it's great to see you. For our listening audience who have been our supporters this season, welcome back. And we thank you for all that you've done to spread awareness and transpire action for our show and for our cause. Because of you, we are ranked the #1 radio show on 1470 WWNN, our flagship station, as well as being the #1 bone marrow radio show worldwide. And while we're the #1 bone marrow radio show worldwide, that's going to translate into lives being saved. So while the ranking is great, it's really the culmination of getting the word out and saving people's lives. That's why we love doing what we do every Tuesday. So, and what's even potentially more important, and this is a big thank you to our listeners, our show is going to be syndicated in 6 major cities. So that spreads more awareness to more municipalities and more contributions. And the culmination of everybody working together will equal more lives being saved. What about the people that never tuned in before? We're so glad that you could join us today for Gift of Life with Gregg, along with my co-hosts Big Nate and Barry Kaplan. I'm Gregg Francis. Welcome to our show. We encourage our listeners to call in at any time today at 1-888-565-1470. Again, that's 1-888-565-1470. And we broadcast live. We'll hear every Tuesday, or 20th show today, in fact, from Boca Raton. Who would have thunk it, Bear? We're in sunny Boca Raton, or a little overcast Boca Raton, Florida, from 4 to 5 p.m. here again on WWNN 1470. Why we do what we do. We're here to spread awareness about the Gift of Life Bone Marrow Foundation, a life-saving nonprofit that gives patients like our friend 6-year-old Sammy, who I'm happy that I'm going to see this weekend, a second chance at life. We want to remind everybody of how special life is, how every day of health and happiness is a true gift of life. And I'll go into this later, but if I could make a book recommendation, I'd like you to read Being Mortal. And it's available. It's a New York Times bestseller.
What's that about, Greg? Because it sounds like is it a novel? What's the deal?
No, it really defines what happens when you get older, that you lose sense of autonomy. And people were the simplest things like gardening, taking a walk, doing things on your own terms. At a certain time, unfortunately, more of a rapid descending gets taken away. Not that we want to be mortal, because there's a show about how you enjoy life, but just remember that when you're able to do what you consider to be simple, banal things
that you take for granted
every day, don't take them for granted, because usually there's not a linear relationship at the end. It's just almost like a nosedive when you get into elder age. So again, please take stock of what I'm saying. Every day of health and happiness is a true gift of life. This week, I had the privilege of speaking to someone who is making a valiant fight for his life. In fact, he emailed me today. His comment, which I've heard before, and I said this last week, the absence of anything bad is good. And it is good. If nothing bad happens, I think that you're a pretty lucky individual. And again, my other recommendation for you is please read Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. And that was a good recommendation from one of our prior guests, Scott Leisher, who's currently at FAU Medical School. It puts into perspective when you lose the ability to care for yourself. So again, as Nate and Barry said, please don't take anything for granted. I never do. So before I go any further, I want to thank my own gifts of life. People who make me smile every day and remind me of how lucky I am. To undoubtedly my biggest fan, my mom, Katie. To my biggest Maryland fans, hello and thank you, Grandma Margie, and my buddy in the Rockville area, Billy Beagle. And to my two boys who are my gifts of life, Nicholas, who's going to be 12 years old tomorrow. I can't believe it.
Happy birthday, Nicholas.
Wow. Happy birthday, Nick.
Nick, you're going to be 12 tomorrow. And Patrick, we start our second soccer season together. Patrick's going to be 8 next week. So, boys, I love you very much. And I can't wait. We have 2 birthdays coming up in 2 weeks, and I'm a blessed dad. Barry, do you want to circle back on something? I mentioned something with the football with the Jets that we joke around lightly.
We can lightly joke about NFL and the Jets being awful and
god
awful, which they are. There's something that I don't find funny though about football, and that's college football, and it's very upsetting to me because college football makes no sense to me. And this is why. You are going to an institution of higher learning so that you can hit your head over and over again to the point of brain damage.
And it's funny.
To the point of brain damage.
I'm happy that you recapped this because you brought this up for about 5 minutes 2 weeks ago.
Very briefly.
But go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't, I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell. I'm a big fan of statisticians looking at the unconventional, and all roads point to Rome. All roads lead to Rome. If you hit your head over and over again, you're gonna get brain damage. And let's put this into perspective, because a lot of people are probably listening to me right now and saying, "Wait 1 second, college football players don't hit their head hard enough to get brain damage." A linebacker, defensive lineman, rushing at another 300-pound, 6'4", I don't know, whatever the statistics are. That hit, that
4 or 5 speed.
That force, it measures, and this is a study of University of Michigan, it measures between 40 and 100 Gs of force.
Correct.
To put that in perspective, 100 Gs of force is equivalent to you driving your car at 25 miles an hour into a brick wall and hitting your head against the steering wheel from the whiplash. That is the same amount of force. So, I think there's another misconception too that a lot of people jump to. Oh, okay, so the concussions are bad. Getting hit really hard is bad. Let's make better helmets. Well, it's not those really big hits that cause the damage. It's a lot of the small hits. Imagine grains of sand piling up until they fall over and collapse. That's what we're looking at. And it's a chronic brain condition that these players get called CTE. CTE. If you want to learn more about this, there's a lot of different sources. One of my favorite sources is an Intelligence Squared debate featuring Malcolm Gladwell and Buzz Bissinger. But I don't know, you guys. Am I crazy of saying this? That college
was that the one with Tim Green and Jason Whitlock?
Exactly. So Buzz Bissinger, Malcolm Gladwell are arguing that college football should be banned. Tim Green and Jason Whitlock are saying no. College football has a place on a institution of higher learning. I don't see it.
No, it's Barry. The reason why we recapped is you prognosticated something that I wish didn't come to fruition, and you said that people are going to end up getting killed. And we had unfortunately a school that we work with, Ohio State University, that's been very helpful with us setting up drives. Buckeye Nation lost one of their walk-on football players who unfortunately shot himself in the head.
He committed suicide. They found him in the woods, with a gun in his hand. And I read an article when this first came to light over the weekend that he had actually contacted his girlfriend at the time. And he was telling his girlfriend, "I need help. These concussions have really, screwed me up. Help me." And that was the last we heard of this young man. And,
I believe he was 23 years old.
He was 23 years old. And, you can make the argument that there are people playing in the NFL that played twice as long as he has and they haven't suffered anything. But we got to remember, not all humans are identical in terms of anatomy. You know, when you hit your head, let's talk about the physics. When you hit your head against something hard like a helmet, it rattles your brain around. Think about pickles in a pickle jar. It rattles that around and it tears these connections in the blood-brain barrier. And those vital connections, those vital pieces of tissue that make the brain able to perform its functions and function normally are destroyed.
What I wanted to add was actually what you're saying is 100% accurate, because a friend of mine got into a car accident many, many years ago.
Yeah.
He was seatbelt in the car, but the impact was so severe that the brain was bouncing around the cranium walls.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he developed water on the brain. He started to swell.
Swelling, yep. And then they got to go in and it's a surgery now.
And I mean, luckily he didn't require surgery, but I can see how there's a huge concern, you know, amongst, I can't see how, I'm sure it's oblivious to most athletes that they probably think it'll never happen to them.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. Most athletes are aware that they're going through what they're going through is very real.
I personally believe that a lot of players are looking at the big picture, thinking that, you know, once they get through college, the college circuit, they'll be into the NFL, and they're willing to pay their dues to get there. And getting injured is probably part of college football.
What, you want to know
ahead.
something?
Go ahead.
Read the book that's called Being Mortal. Football players probably think, just like any athlete at 18, 19 years old, you probably didn't think about death, think about concussions. You think that you're invincible. The question that I pose to you now before we get into our Giving Tuesday debate is, you're a parent right now and the risks have surfaced. Would you let your sons, daughters play football or any other contact sport for that matter?
What happens if it's their ticket to their career? I mean,
I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong answer. That may be very, you know, it's hard to stare down, you know, somebody making multi-million dollars when they've lived a somewhat financially depressed life.
Let me, you know, I got to answer that. We got to take a break first because I want to talk more about this, but let's take that first break and we'll come back with more of this topic.
Yeah, but before we do that, we also, on the other side, we're going to continue Barry's conversation. But today is also a big day in nonprofit world. It's Giving Tuesday.
Yes.
So first it was Black Friday, which emerged into the internet phenomenon called Cyber Monday. Now nonprofits want a piece of the pie, and over the last 2 years, we had something, or have something now, called Giving Tuesday. So when we get back, we'll attack these two topics. Thanks for joining us with Gift of Life with Gregg.
ThrowItBetter.com. Do you need help with your bowling game? Are you taking the right 5-step approach? If you want to become a competitive bowler, even a recreational bowler that's considering joining a league, or a league bowler that is considering joining a tournament, you need to see Vince. He's going to show you how to throw it better. He'll get you the right equipment. He'll show you the right approach. And as a certified coach, he'll put you in the best position to succeed. If you're interested, please contact Vince at throwitbetter@gmail.com and tell him that Gregg sent you. Again, that's throwitbetter@gmail.com, or call Vince at 954-541-5414.
If you own a business and have the need for commercial insurance, I suggest you call Chris Moore of Brown & Brown Insurance in Fort Lauderdale. Chris has been in the commercial insurance business for over 30 years and can handle any company's need for property, general liability, workers' compensation, and automobile, just to name a few. Brown & Brown, being countrywide and the 5th largest agency in the country, gives Chris the tools he needs to meet all your insurance needs. So call Chris at 954-331-1420. Again, that's 954-331-1420. 1420. We want to extend a special thanks to our friends at the Boca West Foundation for all the wonderful work they do for Gift of Life and for all the meaningful service they give to the Boca Raton community. For over 3 years, the Boca West Foundation has generously supported local charities in the Boca Raton area. The Boca West Foundation. It's all about the kids. Are you in the market for a health plan? If so, please visit my good friend Gary at Health Plans Unlimited. No plan is too big or too small. Gary will customize a plan that's affordable and comprehensive, just for you. If you're interested, please visit Gary Goldman, the best in the biz, at www.healthplansunlimited.com. Again, that's www.healthplansunlimited.com. Or you can call Gary Goldman directly on his personal line at 954-303-6676. Again, that's 954-303-6676. And tell him that Gregg sent you directly from the Gift of Life. Health Plans Unlimited. We have the health plan for you. Welcome back to the Gift of Life with Gregg, the show that talks about giving and receiving. If you'd like to call into our show, we'd love to hear from you. Please call 888-565-1470. Again, that's 888-565-1470. And now, back to our show.
And we're back with the Gift of Life with Gregg. Angry Barry here on an overcast Tuesday, and I'm just not digging it. I'm not digging it, Gregg. We were talking over the break. Audience, welcome back. We're talking about college football right now. Today's Giving Tuesday. We're going to talk about that a little later. But I'm angry. There's no other word to say it. I'm angry.
I'm not really convinced. How angry are you, Barry?
What is college for? It's for learning. It's for learning, Gregg, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then why do we have football games?
I think that college is for a lot of things. Sure, you're there to maybe get educated in a craft. Hopefully, you learn some survival skills. You grow up a little bit. You mature. Have different experiences with different cultures.
College is there to build your foundation for the rest of your life.
And why do you have to bash someone over the head 4,000 times to do that?
Well, I'll tell you one of the reasons. It makes tremendous amount of money for the universities.
What about endowments? So endowments go out the window. Now it's all about making money from football. Is this about money? How many more kids have to shoot themselves in the head before we're willing to say it's not about money? It's about life.
You can make the argument as a professional job. There are certainly violent jobs that are more violent than others.
Yes, construction is the one that everyone always jumps to.
No, but you could also say being a taxi driver is violent.
Yes.
You could say being a police officer is violent. You could say that being a firefighter, you definitely are in more dangerous situations than potentially working behind a desk. I will go on record, and everybody knows how much I really, truly enjoy the game of football. I can't argue with you anymore that the game is inherently dangerous. And I don't know, I have to agree with Malcolm Gladwell. And yes, I'm saying this, and I didn't think even maybe 6 months ago that I would. I agree with you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it's not NFL, it's not Little League, it's college football. It's an institution that exists only for the profit of the university, not to institute higher learning. It's not an institute of higher learning when your main priority is the game on Saturday or whatever day it is. I've said my piece. My hands are clean. We got a call. Looks like Nick is on the line. Let's get him in before we start getting into Giving Tuesday. Nick, you there, bud?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Nick, welcome to the Gift of Life with Gregg. You've been listening to our conversation?
I have. How you doing, Angry Barry?
How's it going, Nick? Happy Giving Tuesday to you, sir.
Yeah, happy Giving Tuesday to you too. This is like a new holiday.
Yeah, we feel like it is. Yeah.
Well, we have different holidays, Nicholas. This is what we were talking about a little bit. There's different days for every single thing, and it's only isolated to that one day. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of Giving Tuesday. But what's on your mind, Nicholas?
I guess I was thinking the same thing in terms of I could see both sides of it. I know that out of my friends who, may not be in a position to give a lot of money to different charities all the time because they're just starting out. I think having that day really helps them because I know, like, I got texts from friends today that were like, hey, like mass texts everybody that were like, hey, if support this charity, my sister works for them, or stuff like that, you know what I mean? And any other day of the year, that would have been a really creepy text to get. But today, it makes you kind of be like, yeah, you know what, maybe I will give $10 to this one charity. So on that side of it, I think it's kind of good because for people who might not be, necessarily aware of certain charities, it definitely helps. The other side of it is I have friends from that same text message that were like, cool, this is my nice thing I did this year. And they'd give $20 and that was it. They really didn't think of it again.
You see, this is
funny
the whole.
that, even on this little message chain, both sides kind of came out without knowing it.
See, this is the whole problem: is that people associate giving with dollar bills. You can give without having to open up your wallet.
Mm-hmm. I think Nick knows this better than just about anybody on planet Earth. he gave of himself and he saved a young boy's life. No,
Yeah, I mean, it feels nice to hear that all the time. Thanks, Craig.
It's
kind of true. I guess there are definitely other things people can do. It's a good point. You don't really necessarily get emails that say it's Giving Tuesday. Please volunteer this weekend. I haven't really gotten any of those today.
You don't see that. It's always about the money.
A lot of monetary ones.
Yeah.
To some, that's all that matters is money.
Yeah, but I have an interesting Nicholas. Thank you for the call, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Oh, no problem. Look forward to it too. Thanks, Greg.
All righty. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, take care.
For our listening audience, that was Nicholas Hudson, and he
really gave the ultimate gift.
He gave the ultimate gift. He was a donor to a 4.5-year-old boy at the time who was on our inaugural show, and he's doing quite well. The young boy's name is Cameron, so I think that he really understands what giving is about. So let me go forward and to recap. Today is Giving Tuesday. And I want to go on record that I love the idea of giving, and this is just Gregg's opinion. I think it's a staple of what makes the human the divine. But I don't like trivializing it to one day. Barry and I work for an organization, as probably most of you that are listening know, called Gift of Life. And I'm not naive about it. We rely on financial donations, financial contributions.
Yes.
As well as ones like Nicholas that give themselves to save a perfect stranger's life. We're not naive to the fact that nonprofits and charities needs gifts and those like that to survive. Gift of Life alone does not get any governmental funding, so it's all based on private contributions. But as Nate said before, giving is not only monetary, it's also time, it's also your abilities to share knowledge with people. I want to, on Giving Tuesday, give back and say thanks. We have a walk committee in Boca that have great committee that have been serving us for 5 years. I want to say hello to Wendy, Dana, Donna, and Susan that have given their time to GOL over the past 5 years. And again, we have another walk coming up on January the 18th. But these individuals gave of themselves to help save people's lives by spreading awareness about blood cancer, and that we're spreading awareness in our own hometown in Boca Raton. I want to parlay into something. There was an article written today, Going Beyond #Giving Tuesday, the case for, and I quote, year-round generosity by Brad Formsma. And it was published today. He states, we often get hung up on money, but we shouldn't. Generosity goes way beyond, including how we treat others, our words, how we spend our time, and the stuff that we share. And this was a very interesting sentence, quote, whatever semantic that you want to use. Remember, giving isn't something you have to do, it's something you get to do. So create your own giving ideas and experience a life that is truly living. I thought that was a great sentiment.
Yeah. I want to get back to my bar mitzvah. For some reason, I'm fixated on this. The Jewish word for charity is tzedakah. And tzedakah translates to justice. And it's something that the Jewish community is very in tune with, that the belief that charity is not, or giving is not charity. Giving is bringing justice to earth and to the world and to people. So, I mean, that I really align myself with that belief. And I would have to agree with you guys, like, at the same time, I'm a little hesitant. If I find an article that I really enjoyed reading and I post it on Facebook, is that really giving anything? I'm opening people's doors up to, a piece of information that they wouldn't have had readily access to. But, isn't there, shouldn't we set a standard?
Well, that's the whole thing, and I think that's what Formsma was trying to say, that we're starting to trivialize, everything into 1 day increments. Whereas giving shouldn't be trivialized into 1 day. It's something that you have the ability to do in many different ways all year.
I'm going to argue later that that ability is slowly slipping away out of our hands the more and more we move into this consumer society. But we got a call on. I want to hear what this caller thinks. Sam, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
Sam, how's it going? You've been listening to our little argument here about Giving Tuesday?
Yeah, a little bit. I tuned in just a few minutes ago, so I'd love to hear a bit of a recap on what past callers have talked about.
Well, we had a caller that obviously looks at both sides of the coin. Being that it's Giving Tuesday, obviously it heightens awareness to give. It morphed, I guess, from we had Black Friday, which spiked consumer, and then for those that didn't want to stand in stores all day, you had Cyber Monday. Now charities and nonprofits wanted to get into the fray, and now we have Giving Tuesday.
Which is every Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
Correct.
Yes.
The Tuesday after.
Yeah, every Tuesday. Yeah, the one Tuesday after Thanksgiving. Sam, the question that we have is: should we kind of constrain this notion of giving to 1 day, or should we try to embrace this year-round idea of giving? And secondly, I want to hear your comments, Sam, on this notion that giving is very much a monetary action and not so much anything else. Gregg, I think you disagree with that. You think you could give, information, you can give love, you can give support. Sam, what do you think of that?
Well, two very interesting topics. To speak to the first point, I completely agree with your notion that giving should be a year-round occurrence. However, I think charities are really realizing that, the reality that they face, that, why not try to institute a day like Giving Tuesday to capitalize on, this consumer week of, just increased activity and exchange of money. And I think to not institute a day like Giving Tuesday would be missing an opportunity. And so, as much as I don't agree with it, I certainly see the importance of it.
I think that's a great. I think it's a great call, and you happen to Sam. You happen to sway me a little bit.
Oh no,
no. There's twice in 1 day. I always and I'll throw this back at you, Sam. Does 1 day make you vested in the cause, or are you looking at the short term? Not to say that charitable organizations can't use the short term money, but my thought with giving is that you're actually vested in what you're giving to.
Well, certainly. I mean, I think I've always been a firm believer that one that gives time and energy is even more so, giving of themselves than just a monetary donation. However, I think a lot of people do wait until the end of the year to roll around to assess their financial situation and realize what is feasible for them to give. So, again, the fact that this Giving Tuesday does fall, in relation to the Cyber Monday, the Black Friday, and the fact that it's at the end of the year, I think it's, a pretty good, time for individuals to assess their situations and hopefully donate to a charity of their choice. That being said, I don't think individuals are simply selecting a charity on Giving Tuesday out of random and, becoming vested in it just because it is Giving Tuesday. Everyone has their cause. Everyone has something they're personally affected by. And I think it's more so just an opportunity for individuals to give and perhaps have a matching gift on the other end, or receive some sort of incentive to really donate along with their peers. Sort of becoming part of a national giving spirit that individuals are able to feel good about.
Sam, so I have to say my opinion's been swayed twice today, and I'm normally set in stone in my thoughts. So kudos to you. Let me pose a question to you. What incentivizes you to give to the institutions that you give to?
Oh, it's all about personal relationship for me. I've been very much so inspired by certain charities throughout my life. For better or for worse, having personal family members affected by certain causes, and so for me, it's what has come my way. And that's not to say that everyone has that same sentiment in deciding which charities to give to. But I really think it is sort of segmented by the individual stories.
Sam,
Correct.
on point call. Really.
Yeah, really good call.
Thanks for sharing with us today. Really appreciate your call.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sam. I want to recap something before we take our second break.
Go ahead.
Relationships, personal relationships, and having
Yeah.
a family member go through a cause that you might be vested in. And I'll share with you guys, before I joined Gift of Life. By the way, audience, Gift of Life, Bone Marrow Foundation, we help people with blood cancer. About a month before I was hired at Gift of Life, my mom's cousin, a distant cousin, passed away from leukemia, and she was 39 years old.
That's just too young.
She had a transplant. She then realized her chances of relapse were very high, so she spent the next 12 years traveling with her husband around the world, going to Africa, going to India, going to all these places that they have never been to before, and then she passed away.
That's terrible.
Again, back to what you were talking about, Greg, that book, if you want to plug it again.
Yeah, it's called Being Mortal, and unfortunately, in Being Mortal, what it does is it goes over the course of a life, and it's not a bell-shaped curve. Yeah, you go through the summer, the spring, summer, autumn, and winter of your life, but what you're able to do in the autumn of your life, generally based on your age, in the winter, in your 80s, your mobility and the abilities for most people to do what they were able to do by themselves just unfortunately physically deteriorates.
It just goes to show you can't take anything for granted.
And I do want to plug this again. It's on the New York Times bestseller. It's called Being Mortal by Atul Gawande, and he's a Harvard physician.
Yes.
So it's a very, very well-written book. It's very easy to understand, and it certainly puts perspective to enjoy every day, because some things are physically just taken out of your hands due to age, but you don't want people to steal your minds. So that's the major takeaway. But what our show was intended to reflect was that each day is a gift.
Exactly.
Live it as a gift, because one day the gift may be taken away from you.
And we got to take a break real quick. But when we get back, we're going to talk more about Giving Tuesday. I did a little bit of research myself. I don't really agree with you, Greg, about Giving Tuesday. I think Giving Tuesday is a product of our busy lifestyles nowadays, and I think it's actually a good thing. So when we get back, maybe we can, shots fired, go back and forth with it. But until then, stick with us, folks. You're on Gift of Life with Greg.
Are you in the market for a health plan? If so, please visit my good friend Gary at Health Plans Unlimited. No plan is too big or too small. Gary will customize a plan that's affordable and comprehensive, just for you. If you're interested, please visit Gary Goldman, the best in the biz, at www.healthplansunlimited.com. Again, that's www.healthplansunlimited.com. Or you can call Gary Goldman directly on his personal line at 954 303 6676. Again, that's 954 303 6676. And tell him that Gregg sent you directly from the Gift of Life. Health Plans Unlimited. We have the health plan for you.
ThrowItBetter.com. Do you need help with your bowling game? Are you taking the right 5-step approach? If you want to become a competitive bowler, even a recreational bowler that's considering joining a league, or a league bowler that is considering joining a tournament, you need to see Vince. He's going to show you how to throw it better. He'll get you the right equipment. He'll show you the right approach. And as a certified coach, he'll put you in the best position to succeed. If you're interested, please contact Vince at throwitbetter@gmail.com and tell him that Gregg sent you. Again, that's throwitbetter@gmail.com, or call Vince at 954-541-5414.
If you own a business and have the need for commercial insurance, I suggest you call Chris Moore of Brown & Brown Insurance in Fort Lauderdale. Chris has been in the commercial insurance business for over 30 years and can handle any company's need for property, general liability, workers' compensation, and automobile, just to name a few. Brown & Brown, being countrywide and the 5th largest agency in the country, gives Chris the tools he needs to meet all your insurance needs. So call Chris at 954-331-1420. Again, that's 954-331-1420. We want to extend a special thanks to our friends at the Boca West Foundation for all the wonderful work they do for Gift of Life and for all the meaningful service they give to the Boca Raton community. For over 3 years, the Boca West Foundation has generously supported local charities in the Boca Raton area. The Boca West Foundation. It's all about the kids. Welcome back to the Gift of Life with Gregg, the show that talks about giving and receiving. If you'd like to call into our show, we'd love to hear from you. Please call 888-565-1470. Again, that's 888-565-1470. And now, back to our show.
And we're back with the Gift of Life with Gregg. Happy Tuesday. You know, Giving Tuesday actually is today. Giving Tuesday, if you're just tuning in, should preface it with a hashtag. It's a Twitter thing, I think. It's a hashtag Giving Tuesday. Hashtag Giving Tuesday. What is Giving Tuesday? It's a celebrated day for giving. Isn't that right, Gregg?
You know, I have an excellent example of somebody that gives back to the community.
Shoot.
It didn't happen on a Tuesday. It happened actually on the weekend. But I have a friend of mine who happens to be a barber.
Okay.
And he goes down to Miami, and he gives haircuts to homeless men.
That's great.
Yeah, he sets up shop, brings barber chairs on the sidewalk, and anyone from any walk of life is more than welcome to sit down, and this gentleman and his team of barbers will cut your hair.
Do you know the name of his organization?
Yeah, I'd love to plug it.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, Nate.
I'd have to check, but I don't really know it offhand.
We'll have it for you folks next week then.
Yeah, I love...
That's a great
we
organization.
certainly endorse people that give back to the community. So next week, Big Nate, that's your homework assignment.
Yeah, I mean, he really... This is not the first time. This is regular practice for him.
You know, it reminds me of this football player. I'm forgetting his name, though. He's a linebacker. And he's Johnson or something. This guy, he's been in football for
Jason Brown.
Jason Brown, yeah. He was a linebacker. He had this contract for like $27.5 million or some
I believe that he was the highest paid offensive lineman or the center.
Yeah, highest paid center in football. He quits his job as an NFL center with $12.5 million bills on the table. Think about that.
God bless him.
Yeah, think about that. Well, let's say first, God bless him because he's going to be healthy. You know, thank God he's not going to be hitting his head anymore. But let's think about that, $12.5 million on the table.
Well, let's forget about the $12 million and focus on what he's already accomplished in his life.
That's what I want to get to. Go ahead.
And he is using football as his vehicle to give back.
And let's be more descriptive here. This guy, Jason Brown.
I believe
Jason
that's
Brown.
what his name is.
You're the football guy, Greg. Yeah, okay. Jason Brown. He quit his job with $12.5 million on the table and went to North Carolina, bought 1,000 acres of land, and just on YouTube, just by watching YouTube videos, he's started to learn how to farm, and he's farming and giving the food to the hungry people in his area. And to date, he's donated over 40,000 pounds of sweet potatoes and 10,000 pounds of like green beans or something. I'm blanking on the article.
But that's what giving that's what Giving Tuesday is about. And I want to preface something, BK and Nate. I don't necessarily think that Giving Tuesday is a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a good thing to raise awareness. I question having one day how vested you will be in the organization for 365. Number two, I don't think that giving should be solely known as just a monetary thing. You could certainly give your time, wisdom, take an elderly person that we spoke about for a walk. I mean, there's a heck of a lot of value to that.
I think that Giving Tuesday can be very valuable because for those that don't normally give, whether it be dollars, time, whatever, this may be an opportunity to introduce them to the whole giving back, paying it forward lifestyle.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they might just not want to do it. And this
Right.
might be an excuse, quotes, unquotes, excuse, but really a way to try something new.
No, I think it's great. I believe that we have our favorite Long Island caller on
We got
the
a
line.
regular on the line right now.
Frankie.
Let me take an
Big Frank.
Advil.
Frank, you're with us, buddy.
How we doing, fellas? It's Frankie here.
How you doing there, Frank?
How you
How's
been,
everything
Frank?
going?
Good to hear your
How's Giving
voice.
Tuesday going for you? Good?
It's excellent. It's excellent. How's your Tuesday, Frank?
I'll tell you what.
What's up?
It could be better. I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
If
tell
I
us.
get one more email about Giving Tuesday, I got to throw my computer to the window. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got 6 different emails today, all about Giving Tuesday. And I'll give you what I like about it, what I don't. Is that okay?
All right, go, Frank.
Please.
Here's what I love about it. And Big Nate just said it. For people who don't know, when something exists, I guess it's a nice thing. It reminds them that, hey, you got to be a nice guy every once in a while.
Hey, Frank, open up your heart a little bit.
What's that?
No, Frank's one of our Frank's a great guy.
I'm sensing a little aggression. I said, open up your heart a little bit, Frank.
This is just how I talk.
This is how he talks.
Oh, yeah, he's just
He's
an
excited.
animated. He's very animated, Frank.
Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, you know what they said when I was growing up? I grew up in Brooklyn, and what they used to say was you could hear my father from down the block. If you were right next to him, if you were 2 towns away, if you were a state away, it wouldn't matter. It always sounded like he was right next to you. It didn't matter. This is whispering. I try to whisper when I'm on the phone with you guys. This is as quiet as I get.
Well, Frank, I don't mind. You can shout as much as you want. I love you, man. But tell me, Frank, because I'm curious. Because you always are right on point with the commentary. I don't think Giving Tuesday is such a bad. Well, let me rephrase. I think Giving Tuesday is beneficial. Greg thinks it's good, but it could quite possibly lead to some negative consequences.
Not negative consequences. I don't know that one day will make you vested in the organization.
Okay, that's fair. What do you think, Frank? Who are you going to agree with?
Here's what I think, is that somewhere in the middle, because you get these people today who want to give everyone Giving Tuesday, and they never want to do anything else every other day of the year. You know what I mean? It's like, tomorrow's going to be hashtag Happy Wednesday.
So
What is every single
That's a
day?
good point.
Every single day.
I don't know about you, but every time I hear Frank, I always feel like eating pizza.
Frank, you're saying that.
Every day.
Go ahead.
The thing is, I don't understand today how every day has to be its own thing.
Thank
Why
you.
can't people just know that you have to be a good person every once in a while? You should donate every once in a while, whether it's your time or your money, whatever it is. And then all this Giving Tuesday business just reminds me of actually, first of all, the great Sliced Alone quote from Rocky, that the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean? Sometimes the world sucks. And you know what? Days like this, they kind of bring that up for me, because today people want to pretend that things aren't real, that there's no problems, that I can give $10
Where Frank's
and
heated.
suddenly I'm a good person again.
Yeah.
I think the whole concept of hashtag Giving Tuesday it's as ridiculous for me as the hashtag Jet Nation emails that I get.
What is the hashtag? Frank, I'll get you a little bit more amped up because you're on a roll. Did you see the Jet game last night? I know you're a Jet fan like myself.
You know, I saw the Jet game. I didn't watch it. I was too busy crying. I couldn't even look at the television. Ridiculous. What do we have? We're handing it off 1,000 times. The only good thing is we didn't fumble. Usually the ball's in our hands that much, so it's like a hot tamale. Things bouncing all over the place.
I know that we're going off. I know that we're going off topic, but we ran the ball about 50 times. It looked like a 5-year-old football game where their hands are too small to throw it, so they run it. God forbid that they have to throw it. I don't know, but I know that you're a Jet fan like myself.
It looked like a junior high game. I was sitting here last night watching with Francesca, and Little Frank, he had a game, so he was out with his friends. But I was with me, Francesca, Dominic. I was making fruit salad, because it's what I do on Monday nights. So I'm here with my melon ballers. I'm making my fruit salad, and I got to watch this, and I almost cut my hand twice screaming at the television.
Frank.
he's the best. Yeah. He is the best.
Frank, thanks for your call,
Frankie. I'm personally inviting you and Frank Jr. The offer still stands. If you want to come down to visit our headquarters, you're our most loyal caller every week. The invitation is there, and I'll get your number offline. You and Frank Jr. are invited to tour our facility.
And
that'd be terrific.
We'll make sure you won't cut your hands balling melon.
Got some family on the in-law side from Florida, so it'd be a good excuse to duck out, if you know what I mean.
All right, no, Frankie. After next week, what we'll do is we'll grab down your information, and again, you could call my extension at 1-800-9-MARROW, and it's my gift from Gift of Life to fly you down and your son to see our headquarters, and we'd love to take you out to dinner.
I appreciate that, Greg. You guys have a great week, okay? And hopefully we'll meet each other soon.
Yeah, no. That has to be a must.
Thanks for calling, Frank.
So I got that information that you're asking about. My friend who went to cut the hair of the homeless down in Miami.
This is a barber who volunteers his time and talent to cut homeless people's hair in Miami. What is the information?
So his name is Ryan, and he works out of a salon in Lake Worth called the Naked Hair Salon. So very talented individual. I just think he deserves a lot of acknowledgement for.
Does he have
an email, a phone number, or anything that we could plug? I love giving people that give back to the community.
Yeah, all I have on hand is just the name of the salon where he works out of.
And what's the salon again?
Naked Hair Salon in Lake Worth.
So Ryan at Naked Hair Salon in Lake Worth.
And if you go there, tell him that you were recommended by Big Nate at the Gift of Life with Gregg show. So again, that's Ryan at the Naked Salon in Lake Worth.
We're going to wrap up soon, Greg. We got a couple minutes, though. I want to talk about this walk coming up because it's quite an amazing thing. Gift of Life's annual Walk for Life here in Boca Raton, Florida. It's going to be on January 18th, 2015. We do 5Ks all the time. We see 5Ks all the time, anywhere from Five Guys burgers to, Susan G. Komen does 5Ks. Yeah. But this 5K is different than all the other 5Ks, and I'll tell you why. Folks, you're going to have the opportunity to see a donor and recipient meet for the first time. What does that mean? That means that a complete stranger went out of his way, or her way, to sign up for the registry and were miraculously chosen to donate bone marrow to another complete stranger and inevitably save their life. And not just that one person's life, but their entire family's life. And Greg, you have a great anecdote that illustrates that. Why don't you tell the people what they're going to get to see?
They're going to see a donor and a recipient. The recipient was critically ill, and let's face it, the recipient was going to die. The donor, who is unrelated, which happens in the majority of cases because you only have a family match about 30% of the time.
Yep.
So a perfect stranger is going to save somebody's life that they may never meet. But lucky enough, at this walk on January the 18th, 2015, they are going to meet. So for the first time, the recipient is going to meet the donor that saved their lives. And the donor is going to meet the recipient that really sometimes answers the question of why they were born.
Yes.
So it's very emotional moment. And I think Twain had that quote, and I'm paraphrasing, the two most important days in your life are the day that you're born and the day you find out why.
I love that.
And in many instances, when a donor saves somebody's life, his or her life, they find out why.
You know, it's remarkable. We had on as a guest Bob Nystrom himself, Mr. Islander, and this is a hockey player from the 80s, man. You can't get any more rough and tough than this guy.
He's still rough and tough. He
Oh,
just
yeah.
finished a triathlon.
Iron Man, right?
Ironman, yeah.
Crazy. This guy is a beast. And we've had him at the walks, or at the
galas.
The galas, where we have the same thing, a donor and recipient meeting, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room.
No, Mister, is 6'2", 180, 4% body fat. I mean,
I just want to make a quick correction that actually that Naked Hair Salon is located in Delray Beach, not Lake Worth.
he got so popular that he went from Lake
He,
Worth
he
to
moved
Delray.
in a matter of 10 minutes.
It's been
expanded to a
10
new
minutes. I
facility.
mean, since we got so many hits from Gift of Life
Yeah,
with
look at
Greg,
our
he
radio
just signed a
show.
lease in Delray Beach.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you have an opportunity to witness something that is, in my opinion, otherworldly beyond words. It's on January 18th, 2015, Gift of Life's annual Walk for Life. If you want more information, call us up at 1-800-9-MARROW, or you can visit our website at www.giftoflife.org. Again, that's www.giftoflife.org. I guarantee you're never going to be able to see something like this in any other 5K.
All right, and Kenny's giving us the 30-second warning. Listen, everybody, we really appreciate every week that you listen to us and you let us share an hour of your time spreading awareness with Gift of Life. If you have it in you, really exercise your right on Giving Tuesday. We're available at 1-800-9-MARROW. And again, we really appreciate all your support. Have a great week, and God bless. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks for tuning in to The Gift of Life with Greg. I wanted to personally say thank you to everyone who participated in today's show. And I also wanted to let you know if that you're interested in what we do here at The Gift of Life, please call 1-800-9-MARROW. That's 1-800-9-MARROW. Or you can visit our website at www.giftoflife.org. Again, that's www.giftoflife.org. Even though we're wrapping up our show today, remember, you must always unwrap the gift of life.
The opinions expressed